And I wanted to start by talking about, obviously, the importance of our practice. Every time that we practice, we are continuing to open our bodies. And with opening our bodies and transforming the blockages that are within, we continue to purify this vessel that is this body. And so when we practice, we can absorb more qi. So I can tell you that your ability to absorb qi from the first time that you practice until now has changed. And some of us can sense that, and some of us, and it's not sense with the senses. There's different understandings of what it is to absorb, what it is to purify. So one of my favorite sayings is that with great power comes great responsibility. So what I mean by that is the more we go deeper into our practice, the more we are able to, hi, Billy, the more we are able to have this life force. And it's very, very important that as we cultivate and our ability to absorb qi, to be able to exchange with nature becomes more stronger, it's even more important to be aware of our thoughts, because our thoughts continue to guide the energy that we're absorbing. And this is what's interesting about being a practitioner, in my opinion. Everything I say, take it if you resonate with it, take it if it seems like it would make sense to you. In the process of continuing to practice, we continue to purify, we continue to cleanse. When there's an opening, that qi transforms, and there may be a period of time where we do go into negative thinking, where we start to notice our thoughts are not as positive. So that's part of the process. That's part of the process of cleansing, part of the process of purifying. At the same time, you're gathering more qi. So your thoughts have even more influence over yourself. Does that make sense? So one of my teachers told me this way, and I know you understand, but I like to give the ideas of how it was shared to me, because when it was shared to me that way, my light bulb was like, oh, okay. Every single human being on this planet has abundant potential. I mean, we have so much potential. So yet some people may already have inherently more potential than others, more ability. Some people that never practice Qigong, that never practice any practices, they already have the ability to manifest. Now we come to this practice consciously and say, okay, we have abilities, but let's refine them. And so we use this practice as a tool to continue to refine. So it was shared to me this way. If someone that doesn't practice and they have average ability, I'll say average ability, if they go through a mental experience where their thoughts can be very negative, based in fear, worry, doubt, all the negative thinking, and that's the way, we really call it, their energy is affected. But their energy is affected the same as if they were to sit in a bathtub, the bathtub, you fill it with water. And if they're going through something, it's like this, they're squirming, they're going through the problem. Yeah. The mind is like creating all these issues. And so there's going to be a disturbance in the water. But their ability to disturb is only as big as a bathtub filled with water. As a practitioner, when you're going through the mental challenge and the thoughts are taking over, and we're going like this and struggling, we're in the middle of the ocean. We're in the middle of the ocean. So our ability of what the disturbance is, meaning what the disturbance is. How much more disturbance can there be if all the capacity you have to affect is a bathtub filled with water? How much more disturbance may it be if you are in the middle of the ocean? And it's not like, it's like, so what I'm trying to say here is that, again, with more power comes greater responsibility. Your thoughts have even more impact on your chi than in the beginning. And I say this not to give you fear, not at all. It's to empower us to say, one thought now will carry more weight in my body than a thought when I first started practicing. And I was just learning how to move the chi, how to absorb chi, how to exchange. So does it make sense? Yeah. And so this is where it is important to cultivate chi. Cultivate chi means going into your practice, having your practice that you continue to cultivate. Ideally daily, because your body is, again, what is Qigong? It's the cycles of nature. And when your body every 24 hours goes into that spaciousness within yourself, opens your body, calms the mind, opens our heart to the beauty that is this present moment, the body gets used to that rhythm. It's like sleep. In 24 hours, most of us will sleep. Hopefully, you can tell what happens when you don't sleep. Even some of us, we love sleep a lot. I like sleep. I can tell that's one of my, I can handle a lot of things. For me personally, if I don't have a good night's sleep, it's not so easy. I have to really go deep inside and be like, okay, it's okay. And I'm going to talk about what that means even. That's a reason for that. But when we allow ourselves to, in one day cycle, 124-hour cycle, have a practice, the body says, okay, reset, come back to center. And, we can practice more throughout the day, of course, but I would say, having even one practice, and ideally 30-minute practice, because our chi flows in our body approximately one cycle every 28 minutes. So that's why we say 30 minutes minimum. And it doesn't have to be a very, it doesn't have to be this. It can be anything that nourishes you, so I don't want to put this pressure, but again, the reason I'm saying this is that when you get on a schedule, your body responds. Additionally, when we get on a daily schedule, we have the D word. We are applying discipline to our life. And discipline says, I matter. What matters to me is my practice to help me continue to progress, to grow, to cultivate, and everything external that can wait for my creating that space in your life. Because how many of us, we love practice, we love Qigong, but how many of us one day can go by and say, oh, but I had this to do, I had the groceries, I had to go do this, someone called me on the phone, then this happened, and all of a sudden it's gone. Your day's gone. And this is why we do gongs, to say, you make that commitment to yourself and say, okay, no matter what happens, every day, I'm going to do this practice, because you're setting aside that time for yourself in your life. Very powerful. And some of us have a hard time with discipline. Even me, I love the practice. And there's times where I'm like, oh gosh, this is more in the beginning for me. I'll just say, because this is my life. In the beginning, I would find things that would keep me busy. There's a part of me that wanted to grow, and there's a part of me that didn't want to grow. And I think some of you can know what I mean. There's a part of you that knows what's the truth. There's a part of us that wants to turn away and wants to feel more comfortable and doesn't want to go there. go into the depths of yourself and open up different things. So that's our struggle. We know this is good for us, but it's easy to turn away. And so when we do gongs, again, you can get that discipline in your life and say, I'm making that commitment to myself. And for me, I have found that when we put this discipline into our life, because the hardest thing to do in practice is to start it. Once you start it and you're like, oh, okay, I'm here. Yes. Then you start to relax, you start to open, you start to sense and feel and be more peace, more calm. The things that were holding you like this, it opens a little bit. You get more relaxation. Yeah. And so once we start to taste that, we start to realize that discipline is actually freedom, because we're choosing to live our life the way we want to, not by the demands of others or the other things that we feel are important. We're saying we're the most important for this time. We're nourishing, we're filling. Everything else and everyone else can wait. Because if they don't want you to wait, then you might want to look at that relationship. You might want to say, okay, am I giving too much, or am I, sometimes taking too much? That's another part. Everything is always yin yang. You want to see that balance. And so, the reason I mention this, again, the more we cultivate, the more we have of qi to manifest. And so one thought will do a bigger imprint on your energy than before. And so it's important to remember that. And during our practice, the best as we can, we want to be in a calm state. Of course, some of us come to the practice stressed, tired, all that, it can be normal. You let yourself harmonize. Once you start going into your practice, the mind starts to become more quiet. The heart starts to become more peaceful. Your body opens. There's not that tightness. Sometimes when we relax, we say, oh yeah, I have been tight. Continue to go deeper, deeper inside, beyond the sensation, beyond the thought that keeps you there. And so when you start to build that, that's where the change is. Now, if you come to your practice, and some of us have experienced this in a very stressed state or in a very emotional state, I have been trained that if you cannot start to calm yourself down in a few minutes, it's better to walk away from your practice and go do something else. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, a teacher's telling me not to practice. I've never heard this before. Like, wait a minute, isn't practice the solution to everything? That was my thought, but it was explained to me this way. And I'll use an example. If you're very angry, if you're very upset and you go to your practice, no good. Why? Because you are vibrating at the level of anger. And the qi that you're exchanging with, the qi that you're drawing in, is going to be connected to that anger. Now, again, if you're angry and you start to practice, you do the 8 verses, you can already feel like, you feel your body relaxing, good. But if you're practicing and you're thinking about that situation and you're getting even more upset, that's going to affect you even more. So it's best to stop your practice, close it, go for a walk, write what your feelings down. And when you're ready, you come back. When you're ready, you come back. So, just some words I wanted to share about the practice, about the power of our thoughts, and knowing that even though a thought comes up, yeah, it could be reflecting what's happening in your body, but with your consciousness, you can send energy to a certain area in your body. You can change the thought, transform it. And if anything else, something's really taking hold of you, head touching sky, feet stepping on earth, as the body relaxes, the mind expands. You can even say just one of the verses, whatever verse you connect with, you can do all the 8 verses. Again, the entire universe is for you. You take what you need because it's already there. It's just there waiting, waiting for you.